Je suis Bae de Joy.
Comment de
De
jouer?
Joy. Je suis Bae de Joy. Et nous sommes dans mon compte des Nordiques de Québec, à Hockey Ultimate Team.
Mais c'est le premier contrôle, je pense.
Équipe de rêve.
C'est beau.
Et là, il est 57. On est mardi le 20 janvier.
Hein, quoi?
Ça a bugué. Fait qu'il va y avoir des nouvelles cartes, des nouvelles shit dans 3 minutes. Fait que pour l'instant, on va retourner mettre nos chenoutes aux enchères.
Ça va.
C'est ça. Regarde, je vais vendre cette année. Bang. Ça. Comme ça. Oh oui. Oups. Le méchant. Bon. Il est 59. Fait qu'on va attendre. Là, ça, genre 5 packs à ouvrir. Que voici. 2,82 plus avec des objectifs, un prime et un 82 plus. Quel autre 82 plus va se rajouter à ça? Extraordinaire. Ah, les autres sont là. On sort pour mieux rentrer. Gosh.
Ah, bah, c'est un fait là. Ça, les clés, on peut y donner jeudi en allant sur les.
On peut. Le château, chérie. Arrête, s'il te plaît. Ah, ah. Il est 5 heures. On sort en rentre pour vrai. On pourrait aller au Discover direct, mais. Hein? Ouais,
Ah, ça qu'elle était dedans.
c'est ça. Ah, ça, il était dedans. Rien senti. Bon. Qu'est-ce qu'on a à nous offrir? Aïe, aïe, ok. Des livres, c'est ça.
L'année!
Ben oui, un Lani 89, je veux ça, moi, je peux pas. Un Salming 89, Harold Thompson. Hein?
C'est pas
Ben
bien
oui,
aimé?
une Sittler. Il y a 50 ans, Sittler a fait l'histoire avec sa game de 10 points qui est un record, une game qui...
Tabarnak. C'est pas des MSP, ça?
Ah, non, je pense pas, chérie, ça en est mardi. Tu as entendu parler de MSP mardi?
Ah, non. Excusez, je suis pas
C'est pas
réveillée.
grave, mais check, c'est des 89. Moi, je veux Mcdonald puis Sittler, entre autres. Marcus Naslund, une 89. Chris, c'est quoi ce mardi-là? Allez, ça,
Ben, ça, mais.
Jonathan Taze revient à Chicago. C'est quoi, une 92?
Ouais.
Shifley, Luke Shen. La petite de 89 à cause de sa millième game. Milestone, oh, c'est beau. Ça, c'est tout ce qu'on sait déjà, je crois. Ok. Bon, fait que. On va dans les 7, ça en a pas là, pour ces joueurs-là. Là. C'est pas des respects. C'est simplement des cartes.
Les bacs.
Les 7. Ah! 89. Ah, ben là, Chris, ok. Parce que c'est des 89, les nouvelles cartes, là.
Ah, fait que tu fais ça pour avoir une chance de
C'est
l'avoir.
quand même. Ouais.
T'as quand même une chance de l'avoir en faisant ça.
C'est ça, c'est des 89. Des 89, c'est tout ceux-là qu'on a vu là, à date. Ah, Pinnacle. 89. C'est des livres avec Naslun
La
et
ligne.
Duke. Solney. T'as Nicantropov, un ancien livre site. Ah non, ça c'est 88, ok.
Ouais. Fait que ça va
De
chez Thompson en boîte. Ben, non.
Camwar de Goaler.
Il y en a quand même beaucoup.
Tu sais que t'as Jeff Skinner, ancien Oilers. Là.
Il y en a quand même beaucoup, mais ça te donne une chance de l'avoir.
Ah, Chris. Je vais faire ça, je pense. Ah, puis ça prend des collecteurs que j'ai pas. Je vais chercher
Pas
mes
nécessairement
5.
juste les collecteurs. Tu peux, normalement, tu mets des joueurs.
Ok, ouais.
Passer des joueurs pour faire des joueurs pour faire les MSP.
Ouais, non, c'est ça. Je vais chercher mes
Mais
collecteurs.
avec les collecteurs, j'imagine que peut-être une place pour te faire un 89 aussi.
On va checker ça. Ben, j'ai des packs à ouvrir aussi. Rien. Ok. On va aller voir les 7. Ouais. C'est lui 7. Mais si ça prend les
Ouais,
87,
pas
88,
pas
c'est ça. Ouais. Moi, j'ai shooté ma shot, je pense. Les 87, t'es fait avec des.
Ah, on peut passer les
Hein?
collecteurs Tati?
Le tabarnak? Ben non! Hein?
Fait que
On
c'est
avait
juste
juste
un,
jamais checké.
ça te donne un 87.
Aïe aïe! Let's
Ben, y
go!
a-tu d'autres places que ça pour la fun?
Je sais pas, mais là, pour là, moi, j'ajouterais plus là-dessus, là.
Ben, pour 3 collecteurs Tati qu'on pensait que tu avais perdu, tu as une chance d'avoir tes joueurs que tu
Je
veux.
suis surpris de voir ça.
Ben là, moi aussi.
Ok.
Ça fait au moins des 87.
Son prix.
Comme moi, mettons, qui va juste les passer de même. Ça me fait plusieurs 87. Juste en jeu de ball en plus, ça va pas bien dit. Là, c'est on aime ça.
Mais, hein. On aime ça encore lisse. Tiens, un pack. J'en ai comment, moi, de ça?
T'as avec shitload.
Ouais. Encore lisse. Ça, c'est les défis en passant. T'en as un 87, ça, t'en se rend trop big Malkin. Ah, c'est les mêmes défis, là. C'est pas ça, là. Oui, t'as les headliners, là, défis pour avoir des packs headliners, sont ici. Ça, c'est quoi? Ah, Sittler, c'est pas une challenge. Oh mon Dieu, tu le donnes là, Sittler.
Ben oui.
Si t'as 4 à 6, faut que tu fasses les 10 points.
Hein?
OK.
Puis c'est juste à semi-pro en passant.
Ben non.
Ouais.
Ah ben
Puis tu commences
Chris,
en première période. Fait que
je
t'as
te,
quand même littéralement une
je
game
te parle
complète.
d'un défi, j'essaye, là.
Ouais.
Hey, mais mon Dieu, c'est donc bien bourré. Moi, je m'attendais à ça, moi, mardi de
T'as tes
même.
3 périodes pour essayer de faire tout ça.
Les sites, tu mets quoi? Les 85, 86 puis les 87. OK. Fait que si t'as des collecteurs Tati, là, tu veux qu'on check ailleurs le nom d'événement?
Non, le même événement, mais à gauche. Ouais. C'est dans cette droite, le vert. 87 dans sa gauche.
Oh,
Plus.
faut le savoir.
Oui, ok. Jaune 89. Regarde, tu peux l'avoir là aussi. Dans le collecteur.
Ouais, c'est ça. C'est pas que des Tati.
Ben, je sais pas quand
OK. Ben là, je passe toutes mes Tati là, moi, visiblement, là. Ce que je fais avec mes côtés Tati à part ça.
Je sais pas s'il y a.
C'est le meilleur deal, ça, c'est
Ça
80.
m'étonnerait que.
C'est bien caché, hein?
Ouais,
Chris.
faut le savoir.
Ben, le pack opening va être plus sexy que je pensais, chérie.
C'est clair. Ok, parfait pour jeudi. J'ai dit qu'on partait à 15h. J'ai demandé si c'était correct pour eux autres, puis elle marque un thumbs up.
Ok, cool. C'est bien le fun, ça.
Qu'est-ce que tu veux utiliser dans le
Là.
que je t'arrête?
Ouais. Ouais, tu peux le dire.
Ouais.
On va demain pour la.
Le demain ou le jeudi?
Là, je suis là mon téléphone demain aussi. Hein.
Hey, t'aimes-tu mieux qu'on le dise demain en personne, ou pas?
Ça me dérange pas, c'est toi.
Non, moi, ça change pas.
Non, dis-le là. Je sais pas si c'est un set qui a été rajouté dernièrement ou que c'est là depuis le début. Ça.
Ouais, j'en ai aucune idée, j'ai pas été voir.
Non, c'est ça. Pas la peine de
Mais je
fouiller.
pense qu'il était pas là. Parce que quand on a regardé brièvement le début de l'événement, il y avait juste des
Peut-être que le
baskets.
monde était trop en crise,
Puis
puis.
ils l'ont mis.
Ouais. Parce que c'était pas, je retrouve que c'est collecteur. Là. Oh, mais je serais récompensé pour avoir fait des collecteurs en innocent. Ça me fait pour ça de faire un joueur.
Ouais.
Merveilleux.
Content de voir ça.
Ouais, ben c'est ça. C'est un message positivement cool.
Exact. Tant qu'à la faire attendre à demain.
Ouais, c'est ça.
J'avais dit à ton père le matin, mais là, je faisais une gros fête dehors.
Non, j'en ai plus, là. Ok. Bon, dans les petits back sit. Fait qu'on va aller ouvrir ça.
Pourtant, il y a quand même plusieurs joueurs qui étaient vraiment là-dedans. Sittler, l'ami.
Ouais, ben c'est ça.
Ça, je m'en rappelle plus.
Fait que voilà, 19 packs à ouvrir. Oh mon dieu. Awesome. Fait que là, on va ouvrir 87. Ouais. Peut-être que je les garde, peut-être que je les garde pas, mais je penserais pas. Parce que je sais pas c'est qui 87, on les a pas checké là. Mais il y en a que j'aime bien, que je garde. Ça se met pas des packs de trop. Comme tu sais, Brandon Morrison, je garde pas ça.
Non, ben, ça fait des joueurs soit
Pour faire
ressources ou
89.
soit pour faire le 89. Ça, on donne ta chance.
Ouais, t'en étais machin, tu sais. Ça. Oh, Brian Mccabe! Lui, je la garde.
Tu l'avais à combien?
Je l'avais plus.
Ah, tu l'avais
C'est
plus?
sa plus haute carte, McCabe.
Awesome, ça.
Ouais, un livre, ça fait que. Pas la meilleure carte ever, mais c'est un 87 que je peux me faire monter avec des.
C'est une
Ce que
carte
je vais sûrement
d'événement.
garder. Ouais, puis c'est une carte d'événement en plus. Mais c'est McCabe, je l'aime, un livre. Fait qu'à date, là, je la garderais.
Awesome, ça.
Ouais. Je me rappelle de cette carte-là quand ils l'ont sorti la semaine passée.
Oui.
J'étais comme je l'avais dit, j'aimerais
Oui,
ça
oui, oui.
l'avoir.
Ben voilà.
Ouais, ouais, ouais.
Moi, c'est parce que j'étais à
Un petit compte, non, on ne le garde pas.
ça fait des ressources en plus.
Ben là, c'est quand même les 87. Hein.
Évidemment. Ah oui, oui. Euh,
Burroughs, je regarde pas ça. Je regarde pas ça. Ah, je suis capable. On, grand pas. Ouais.
ben, j'ai marqué un de 10, donc le travail
Ça,
commence tranquillement pour l'arrivée de bébé James.
awesome. Un autre
Tu l'as,
McCabe.
tu l'as.
Fait que là, ça m'en fait 3,87 en passant.
Ouais, ok, oui. Merci, merci.
Ça, c'est bon. Le 87, c'est qu'on a. Un autre Mccabe. Ouais. 87, non, c'est pas ça. Ouais. Pas mal. Alex Tanguay. Quatre-vingt-sept. On va. Un autre Alex Tanguay. Puis dans 1h24, je vais avoir mon nouveau pack quotidien qui va me donner toute la fin des XP de la semaine.
Ah, ok.
Fait que ça aussi, c'est cool. En Chris, soir, on pourrait jouer les chums, quand même. On pourrait grinder un peu. Putain, là.
Ouais.
Un autre tagué.
J'ai pas regardé 86, il y en a beaucoup.
C'est fait.
Mais, ouais, on pourrait.
Tu as une affaire à faire dans ton compte aussi, là.
Ouais. Ouais, vraiment. J'ai avancé tout à l'heure non plus.
Un autre Mccabe. Ouais, ouais, Scofield. Qu'est-ce que tu vas faire?
Le reste, j'ai avancé tout ça, je vais un peu.
Fais ça. Ça. Un autre tagué. On va faire un set de tanguay. Un set de tanguay. Meublement tanguay. Ouais, un set. C'est drôle.
C'est bon, ça.
Bon. RJ Hamburger, 187. Des Blue Jackets. Hamburger. Hey, oh, on n'a plus. On n'est plus. Ok, bon, ben là, ouvre le délai objectif, alors. Info. Incoming. 82 avec Mel Larson. Face off. Prime. What's next? 82 plus. Le Prime. Le 80. Ah, le Weekly Diners Pack. Voilà. 84, Alex Texier. Veleno 82. Mon Dieu, c'est quoi ce pack-là? Un Nikon 82, check ça. C'est fucking Weekly. Ben là. On aime ça. Il faut le Prime Pack, chérie. Le gris. 1,80 plus avec 2,80. On te met le bord, tu en as un trade pair, s'il te plaît. C'est bon. There you go. Ben chaud là. Bon, là, il reste pas mal des 82 plus, je crois. Ouais, ça c'est des 82 plus. Il y en a un qui est tradable. Fait que c'est parti. Jacob Slavin. Ouais. Un 86 Darrell Earnsblood. Okay.
Celui-là. Ah, hein?
Merveilleux. Yep, bah. 82 plus on tradable again. Marshall, so. 82 plus tradable maintenant, Mccabe, donc. Cool. Ouais, ça, on peut le faire. Merci, bébé. Je suis. Fait que là, on revient ici. On va au 89,7. Madame. Check, je fais ça de tanguy pour vrai. Là, on va aller voir immédiatement c'est qui qu'on a. Nous avons Daryl Sittler. Non, Mike Green, hostie. Là, on a une bande qui est de sa part, visiblement. Ok, on y retourne. On crée 3,87. Faut que je me garde un Mccabe. Donc, je vais pas mettre 3 Mccabe. C'est ça. On va le voir là. Ok. Bon, on va mettre 3 Mccabe. On ne porte pas cher.
Un set de Bae, un set de Mccabe.
Ouais. Tu peux nous l'ouvrir, chérie? Donne-moi le Sittler ou Salming ou Lani. Ouais. Ces trois-là, je serais content.
Moi, je dis que je te pose la nuit.
Moi, je vais te Salming.
Ok.
Big pull, come on! Oh, le goaler, Michael Paul. Check, je veux voir cette carte-là. Voir les stats.
Palmather.
Ouais.
Mathieu.
Ben, c'est parce que ça serait mon plus haut goaler, pareil.
Ouais.
5 pieds 8, 170 livres, c'est pas super gros, là.
Mais il y a quand même
Recharge. C'est ça, je l'essaye. Je ne sais même pas c'est qui, babe. C'est ancien goaler des livres des années 70. Hein. Ça, son casse est hot. Bon, ok, c'est pas ce qu'on voulait, mais au moins c'est un ancien Leafs.
C'est pas à chier.
Ouais, pis c'est un goaler 89, tu sais.
Ouais.
Ok.
De l'événement, à la limite, quelqu'un peut le garder pour un événement maintenant.
Ouais, il joue des games, tu sais. Mais non, je vais l'essayer, je vais donner une vraie shot.
Non.
Là, j'ai quoi?
Mccabe, ça fait pas.
C'est mon dernier Mccabe.
Ouais.
Pas mal mon dernier tour, je pense. Hmm.
Non, tu peux en faire.
Oh.
Oui, parce que l'autre, il vient de dire.
Ah, ok, oui, t'as raison.
C'est ton dernier tour.
Ok. Fait que Burroughs est ainsi. À moins que je m'en referai un autre. Merci. Je pour l'année Mcdonald. Et je suis full heureux. C'est que m'aura avoir encore le même asti Mike Green. Bang! Ah, j'ai son Ming.
C'est bon.
Défenseur gaucher. À 89, c'est bon. Ouais, c'était genre troisième peut-être.
En tout cas, au moins.
90 de stick. J'ai 97 de block shot. Un Wheels goal avec un Warrior. Ah ouais, c'est bon, un Warrior, tu t'enlèves tout de suite en crise. 94 de passe.
C'est bon, c'est bon, le gars.
Ouais.
Au moins, c'est quelqu'un qui voulait dans le gars.
Ah, ça fait mon line-up, ça. Là. C'est un Def 89.
Oui.
Je pas bien de ça. Donc là, il m'en manquerait.
C'est les 89 que tu sors, fait que tu peux même pas mettre tes cartes que tu as là-bas. C'est Mccabe qui passe ton dernier si tu veux le garder.
Ouais, c'est ça. Faudrait que j'aille voir mon nom. Je pense que je vais le garder. Ah, c'est ça, Bill Guérin, je peux pas. Ben, garde cette là, je peux peut-être avoir avec les moments.
C'est lequel qui donne avec les moments, justement?
Donne cette heure.
Ah, ben c'est ça, ouais.
Fait que je sauterais pour l'année. Oh! J'en ai plus. Euh, c'est où, là, pour faire des 87? Là, ça prend des 85, 86. J'en ai-tu ça? C'est qui j'ai? Ah, ben, Chris, c'est que ça. Je m'en fais un, là, 87. Fait que là, je vais pouvoir shooter ma shot. N'est-ce pas?
Ouais.
C'est peut-être des faux coupes.
Mais non. C'est marqué, ça y est, la confection est partie demain, autre chose à venir avec Ami.
Ah, tant mieux. J'ai eu Burroughs. Là, je m'en vais ici. Puis là, je mets Burrows. Voilà. Bon, la babe, ça tu pas mal le poulet, là, l'année. J'ai besoin d'une pour l'année. Elle fait ça pour moi.
Je suis capable. Je t'ai pogné Sittler. Pas Sittler, mais je suis au Salming.
Salming, là, tu me sors l'année.
Je te sors l'année.
Ça va pas Mike Green, là.
Non. Je te sors l'année.
Tu sais, Pascal, ça vient, toi?
Je te sors l'année. Check bien ça, Mr.
Ça marche.
Stash. Mr. Stash in the house.
Ça sort à Salming, l'amour. C'était pas ça dans le deal, là.
Je m'excuse.
C'est pas grave, là, moi, ça. Les deux Salming, hostie.
J'ai été 89 fois.
Oui. OK. Là, dans les 7, c'est ça le plus haut, 89? Ouais, c'est ça. Sinon, tu fais des MSP.
Ouais.
Fait que, donc ça, j'ai plus. C'est là, ça, Pascal.
Est-ce que tu veux que j'appelle maman tout de suite?
Ouais, tu peux l'appeler tout de suite, là-bas.
Là, je sais il est prêt, fait que dès que je raccroche, on peut manger.
Là, faudrait que j'en fasse 3 autres.
Ouais.
Hey, check, j'en de ma shot, peut-être, là.
Ouais, ok. Fait que ça te va, ça?
Ouais. Fait que là, ça me fait 1,87. On va voir. Je suis capable d'en faire 3. J'en de ma shot. Ça fait des 89 ou des 87 au pire. Ouais, Team of the Week, qui mange de la merde. Ouais, Chris. T'as pas en avoir de ça.
Ouais.
C'est juste que j'en ai moins que.
Ouais, chaud, là. Rossi, j'étais trop contente de le mettre là. Ça, l'autre fois, je l'ai retrouvé.
Ouais, c'est ça. Check ça. Ouais. Ben ouais, parce que je peux pas y mettre d'insectes, des reroll. Tu comprends?
Ouais.
Tu sais, ça finit à 84, 85.
Ouais.
Ouais. On s'en crie, c'est pas mal, là. Mike Fisher. Avec fucking. Hamburger. Ouais. C'est méchant. Puis.
Ah, on a même attends.
Un autre hamburger. Bon. Ceci étant dit, on retourne crisser ça. Ici. Fait bang. Et voilà. Deux hamburgers, un Fisher. Bon, là, je me sors la Annie parce qu'elle était prête de me sortir.
Ok. On va voir.
Non, tu étais empotée, impotente. Voyons voir. Lani! Let's go! Ça doit être ma dernière shot en plus. Hey, j'ai Lani, Colis, 89 avec 89 de speed. Des shots début 90. Les mains début 90. 92 de force. Ah là, je suis content. Il y a Spark Plug, All-Star, puis Unstoppable Gold. C'est bon ça. Là, tu frappes avec Lani, puis ça te booste.
Ah, c'est vrai.
Les Sittler, on va le faire avec les Moments.
Ouais, ça.
Hey, Chris! Va voir, j'aurais pas avoir des chances d'avoir toutes ces cartes-là de joueurs que j'aime pour vrai.
Ça a bien fait. C'est ça.
Let's fucking go! Bon, fait que là, visiblement, ce monde-là s'en vient sur mon line-up pour l'événement. Ouais. Let's go! Ça dessus ou pas?
Non. Ben, c'est toi, mais.
Ouais, ça.
J'essaye.
Ouais, là, chérie. Ah, tabarnak, toi. Fait que là, Bill Guérin, il va jouer, là. À part ça. Bon, parfait, chérie. Le thème, chérie, à tout ça. Fait que. Moi, je vais mettre un podcast. Probablement. Non. Ouvrir.
Right? Because yeah, you wanted to show
Some favorite wrestling?
You wanted to see that switch.
What else did you add?
Look, it served Bay Masters. It served the heat for Sarge, winning the title, and it served to further Randy and Warrior to WrestleMania. And so you had a lot of arguments there. And look, there were a few that said, oh my God, you guys showed footage from the pay-per-view. Like, okay, we're sorry. We won't do it again. But yeah, it was calculated risk. Next up, we're going to get the Mountie and Coco Beware. This feels like a placeholder that would normally, in years past, been used for almost intermission. But I guess after you've got something that had so much heat, having a cold match like this, I think you and Bruce would have, or you and Pat would have called this a let me up match. Yes, this would be, hey folks, relax, call your friends, tell them what's happened, go to the bathroom, get a beer, and move on. Let's talk about the next match. This is a big one. Ted DiBiase and Virgil are going to be in a tag team match, pick up a win over Dusty and Dustin. This is, of course, a backdrop for the long-awaited DiBiase-Virgil split. This is, of course, going to be Dusty Rhodes finishing up here with the WWF. He's headed for WCW, and Dustin, of course, going to be following his dad as well. But the whole DiBiase-Virgil split, do you think that you guys had the end in mind when you first introduced the character? I mean, that does feel very wrestling, right? Like all tag teams and on-screen pairings or what have you, they eventually break up. But did you always envision that this one would be, on a major stage and platform, and knew that there would be a feud to follow? Yeah, look, man, the idea here was for Teddy and Virgil to split up, and yes, you're always looking at that big breakup, the audience with the heel manager, and usually you would turn the heel babyface and everything. The manager would stay heel, and then you want to get the hands on him. It was a little bit different with this, in that Virgil was a sympathetic character. He had been abused by DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, for so long that you wanted him to stand up for himself so bad. You wanted him to finally clock his boss, and everybody wants to just smack the shit out of the guy with $1 million who wants his money and is a big mouth and everything. So this was to do that, but it also was like, all right, if there's anything in Virgil, we're going to find out. We're going to find out real quick. Because Virgil had also been just coming and saying, man, I won't work. I can do this, I can do that, all this shit. The reason Virgil was valet is because he was not a good worker. And, he was Soul Train Jones, S.T. Jones, in Nashville and in Tennessee for a while. But he really wanted to work. So he said, I've been working on, my in-ring stuff. So we're looking at, hey, this is an opportunity to give Virgil the ball, see what he does with it. And, you saw what he did with it. But, no, this was always the plan. This was to be able to get us to Mania with kind of a nice, match. And it was also, we knew, got DiBiase in there. I think I could have a good match with Ted DiBiase. And it's like, okay, we're going to see what he can do with the best of the best. And just didn't really work out that way. I'm going to stop short of comparing it to Hogan Savage, but this had built organically for years and years. Seeing the abuse that Virgil was taking, fans wanted so desperately for him to just block DiBiase. So when it finally happens, man, I think a lot of people were really excited to see this match. It had been a long time coming, 4 years. Yeah, you don't always get that equity that you can build into a character and be able to, I think every time that you
put someone together, there's always in the back of your head, my God, when they break up, this is going to be huge. But from the get-go, with Virgil and the $1 Million Man, it was such a subservient relationship. And DiBiase was such an asshole that even at the time that they were the nastiest of heels, you wanted Virgil to just knock him on his ass.
Yeah.
It's a hockey ultimate team
it was a nice
challenge,
thing.
and we are
You know, obviously, with all Virgil, and we want to be very respectful, but it does feel like you guys realize Virgil had a ceiling fairly quickly. Is there anything with the benefit of hindsight that you could have done differently to keep that momentum going? Because we know other sides of the justice queue, Virgil's going to kind of be a preliminary guy. It doesn't feel like fans were with him so much here. With the benefit of hindsight, is there anything you could have done differently to just keep building Virgil somehow post-DiBiase, or was all in one team, one trick pony?
They work on it continuously in
We're hoping
practice
it was not
to
a one
maintain
trick pony.
possession while you're being
Look,
jostled and shoved
always
around.
want to hope
It's
for the
incredible
other
to
side
see
to
the
break
hand-eye
post
coordination and the
talent.
balance and the sequence
Unfortunately,
to
in
take it
this
to the net.
situation,
And we'll get the
it was
whistle
all
after
dead.
the goaltender heads
And
up.
even the support Virgil post-head, just
Face-off
they
coming
didn't
up. They
care.
can smell blood here. I
They cared
think.
about
They
head.
put their foot on the gas
They
pedal because
hated
they
$80 million man.
recognized that the goaltender, he was under
They
siege, James, and he
everything
really
he
didn't get
stood
a chance
for.
to get much rest.
Virgil. Virgil was that
Moves it
conduit.
quickly over
Virgil
to
was that
Mccabe.
guy that I could get behind. And finally stood up and I wanted to stand up. Once he did,
Oh, that's a tough one, James. You're
but
along the
kind of
boards.
went,
You don't have a lot to
oh,
give. What
he
that
was
means, you're feeling it.
not very good
The
beyond
Bruins get a hold of the
this.
puck in their own end. Locks them.
That audience that
Sends a
goes,
pass over.
yeah, man, I'll go
Good
over here.
stand-up hit on the
It's
play.
just, Virgil was in the right spot, man. He was a great bodyguard, great in that spot, great punch guy here or
Taking
there,
by
to
Thompson.
distract
Oh,
you.
what a save
But
in front.
have a Matt
Good for the
Bell
puck
with
along
somebody
the boards.
that wasn't really
And
his
a
forte.
heads-up kick pass over to his teammate. And that's a great hits-up
We'll
pick.
talk about the
Trying to
Royal
shake the
Rumble
defender.
1991.
Stones him on the
Immortal Hulk
breakaway.
Hogan is going to throw out
Good
Earthquake
pass over to
to win the
Mcdonald.
Royal Rumble. It goes
Here they
65
come on
minutes
the
and
attack.
16 seconds.
Passes it over.
And Meltzer, even back
Big
here,
time save
noted
by
that when
Cheevers.
Hulk jumped out
Sometimes
turbo at
breakaway.
58.55, Meltzer wrote in
Shuts
Turbo
down
in
a great
parentheses,
scoring chance
a
there.
few in about 9
That's a
months,
textbook body
which I
contact
thought was
there.
fascinating.
Toronto's looking to
That
break out.
he was suggesting that, hey, maybe there's something there. You, of course, have revealed in your since, oh, that was actually an idea, cheap tugboat. Hulk dumping tugboat. Could it have gone to anything? Was it a backup plan? Was it done as a
The
placeholder?
Maple Leafs have to be feeling good about themselves after getting on the board first here.
I like the tempo,
Play every man
especially
for
in the
himself.
latter half of this
And-
period,
and
James.
yes,
They've had
they
more
worked
speed, more
that. So
urgency
it
to their
was-
game, and they're rewarded with that goal.
It
Here's a
was
short pass to Sittler.
playing that every man for himself and possibly on down the line. Yeah, maybe we could
Moves
get there,
around on the half wall.
but
Cheevers hangs
really
on to the puck to stop the
Yeah.
play.
it was. I think it
More
probably
than half
could
the
have been a
period has gone
remnant
by. Hope you're enjoying
of
this one.
what we
Toronto's
were
up
thinking,
1-0.
what we were going to do at one point, because,
The
this
Bruins
one,
win the draw on their own end.
Pat and I, put together, we did it with
Picking
Vince
up
at the
momentum
house
across the zone
there in
here on the
Boca,
right side.
and
Toronto's got the puck
sat
along
there
the
and
wall.
just went through all of that shit, went through every little thing. So, probably a holdover, but it was an intriguing holdover. It
I
was
know
an
that he
intriguing
doesn't
holdover.
panic when he's in on the goaltender here, James.
This,
He's
of course,
patient,
is
waits to see
the
what he's given and takes
the
it.
1991 Royal Rumble. We know that in
Toronto's
92,
got a
the
hold
Mariners
of the
were
puck
the
off the
Cup
draw.
champion, and then in subsequent years, whoever wins the Rumble gets the title shot at WrestleMania.
You're welcome.
Grabs the puck in the
We've done
corner.
that here
The
in
Bruins take
91.
possession in the
Said
defensive
whoever
end.
wins the Rumble gets the title shot. I guess what I'm asking
Breakaway
is,
at center ice.
is this the Rumble where you realize, hey, maybe we do need
Quick
mistakes?
pass to Sittler.
Like, you can't just be for bragging rights and going to lead the Royal Rumble. I mean, WrestleMania.
Absolutely. Absolutely they does. And I dare say probably should have done.
Toronto's
But,
brought their A game here to the ring tonight. They lead it comfortably
wow,
as we near the
wow,
end of the first.
to do it.
Face off here in the neutral zone, and we
Is
are
there an
back
alternate
underway.
universe where
Look at this.
somehow, some way, Hulk
Oh,
Hogan
that's a great shot
captures
block
the
there.
world title,
Yeah, I mean, it's great ace
or
scoring
maybe
chance. You want to
Earthquake
make sure that you
wins
get
the
in front
world
of that
title.
one, and he
Hulk
did. He
Hogan
gets all of it.
wins this match. I'm wondering, do you think there's an alternate universe where instead of the controversial Sergeant Slaughter, Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania, would Vince have ever bought in the Earthquake and Hulk Hogan for the title at WrestleMania?
Columbus looked great thus far, leading here late in the first period.
And I think, again, it was looking at the attractions of
And
WrestleMania,
that'll put a bow on the first
especially
20
during
minutes of
those
action
times,
here
was
tonight. We've got
give them
lots more
something
still
to
to
do.
come.
First time
Second
ever,
period is
never,
just around the corner.
never before seen
Second period set
type
to
of
get
match.
underway.
It's just a main attraction. And
Here we go. Lots of time
Au
left
Côte
in this
d'Ivoire,
one,
ouais.
but certainly a lopsided affair
Hogan
to this point.
issue. And
Let's get the talented
how
Cheryl
that
Pounder
was
back
everything on
into
the
this
page.
one. What do you make of the first 20
I
minutes of action?
definitely couldn't say
Toronto's
that.
mindset needs to stay
Yeah, bullshit.
exactly the same as it was in the first period,
We're
James.
talking
They
about,
were
you know,
intense, they
Royal
were
Rumble,
aggressive,
of
they were
course,
hard on
everybody
the
gets
puck,
this
and
time
they
of year.
managed it.
Most
They
fans
managed
point
the
to
ozone
92 as
possession
their
sign,
absolute
and they
favorite.
executed.
But
A
if we
reason
do
why
a
they have
look
a
back,
healthy lead.
and you take a look
Keith
at
won it in their own end.
88, won by
A
Max
chance to get it
Zucker,
out of the
and
defensive
then we took a
zone.
look at 89. I know that was
The
probably
Bruins
one
gain
that you were
possession.
fond of, but
And out comes the extra
this
attacker with the
year, your
goaltender
Big John
parked on the bench.
Stud
A shot
189,
into
and
the
then
scores.
1991.
An
Those have won
empty
both.
net
You
goal.
have a
Well,
favorite
you're trying to
Rumble
push and create
before
something with the
92.
extra
So
attacker, and you
88,
know that you've got
89,
the extra advantage,
1991.
but
This one
unfortunately,
stands out
it
above
doesn't
all the
work
others.
out, and it goes the other way.
Yeah, and it's only
Sittler's ready for the draw
just
as they
sentimental.
continue to
It
be
is the
shorthanded
first one.
here.
Because
Textbook
that
poke check
was
to turn that
the
over.
first show that I ever
Pulled over to the
produced
ice and loses the puck.
live television.
Moves it to
And
Busek.
then,
Textbook hit
at
there.
that point, we had
And
done
he's ridden off the puck.
Survivor
The Maple
Series,
Leafs will try to shave a few
But
seconds off this penalty now.
done that, then the Royal Rumble, wrote it, produced it, timely did everything, and that was my first time doing live
Anytime
television.
you get a hat trick, it's a special
And
moment for a player, an athlete here, James. But to do it
lessons
at
that I
home
learned
and
there,
have all
I'll
those
never
guys flying
forget.
out on the ice, it's a
And
pretty
it was
special
such
one.
a
Both
wild
teams back to
ride
even strength after giving
all
up
the
a
way
short-handed
down the
goal.
line.
It's an opportunity the power
That's
play
my
unit will
favorite,
probably
just
soon
because it was
forget.
my first. And it was
That's a
the
tough one for the
first one
power
for so
play
many
team here,
reasons
James.
and all
Giving
the
up a
different things that
shorty on
happened
that
there.
one. What matters now is
My
what you
favorite
do
was
next.
1990.
Reset,
We want to hear from
refocus,
you
and
guys.
attempt
What
to
was
get
your
back in this
favorite
one.
Rumble
And
from
he does
88,
with the poke
89,
check
90,
to start
and
it.
91?
And they
It's called
strike
Three
pay them
Player
once again.
Rumble.
They do, and
Let
their
us know
opponents
in the
down here
comments
heel
below.
deflated.
And
They
we're not
gotta
done
find a way to
talking about Royal
continue the
Rumble
pressure,
all
be
in January.
relentless, and
There's
try
going
and
to be
get
a
another
Royal
one.
Rumble celebration in the coming weeks. We'll talk about
Sittler's won the draw here in
1996.
the
We'll talk
neutral
about
zone.
2001. And before you know it,
Moves the
this
puck.
year's Royal Rumble will be here. Bruce,
The
I
Leafs
never
gain
know what
control
you
of
must
it.
say at the end of these. I'm having a blast
Picked
doing
up
this.
along the
It
wall
feels
by
like old
Sealy.
times, but I'm ready
The
for next
Bruins
week,
look
man.
to
Looking
start the
forward to it. Let's do
transition
it.
game.
All right, man.
From the left
Well,
side, they enter the
Right here
attacking
on
zone.
Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard.
Rock on!
Ever feel like something to wrestle with? 1990. Bruce Pritchard. It's Conrad the Mortgage Guy, and you're listening to Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard.
Scooped
Bruce,
up
what's
along
going
the wall by
on, man?
Mcdonald.
How are you?
I
And
was
a
just
strong
admiring how nice
physical
my hair
collision on
looked.
the
That
play
picture
there.
with Dusty, like nice, long, golden, flowing locks. Those were the days, baby.
What an opportunity and delivered.
Well, these are the days where we are excited to talk about the Royal Rumble. We are home stretch into this year's Royal Rumble. Last week we talked about
Yeah, they're not taking their foot off the
1991.
gas
Today
pedal here,
we're talking
James. They've
about
been pushing and pressing all game
1996.
long, and look at the
This was
scoreboard.
30
It's the
years
reason why
ago,
they're
Bruce.
ahead.
Big time stop there.
So, it's a long time.
Thompson's got the puck
It is a
along
long
the
since
wing.
I've been alive for 30
Here's an
years.
odd man rush.
Well,
Cuts to the
I
point.
can believe that. I mean, you
Toronto's
got
trying to
kids
make
that are
something
20
happen in
something.
the offensive
Well,
zone. And that
that's
shot
on you.
dies in traffic.
No, I'm
Puck
full
scooped
out
up by
help.
Busek.
No. I mean, you could be my
And
kid.
he takes the feed.
Wow, isn't that a scary thought?
Yeah.
Great
Exactly.
pressure on the offensive end by
That got,
Sittler. Puck grabbed by Park.
that got a lot of frowns
There's the
with that
collision, and look who's
fucking,
hit again.
He's been
the
a
Hall of
punching
Fame
bag
thing
tonight,
that
James.
puts
He's
you
gonna
in
have to
when I
find a way
talked
to
about
get out of
back
the
in the
way.
day. Those old timers. I myself not so happy
Well, you
with
don't replicate these
Really?
nights very often,
Yeah, well, I
James. You
said,
gotta
well,
finish
now
in
I'm
the
kidding.
rhythm
I'm
and
cool.
continue to pad the stats.
got a 5-month in there. I don't know where he never was on the same day.
When you have
He
sustained
talked
offensive pressure, you're
all
wearing
that
your
stuff.
opponent down consistently,
And,
whether it's the cycle
Jeff
or
got all
whether you're
red.
creating motion
Larry
and
Thomas
lanes to the net.
laughed. He thought that was
Everything
funny.
they did was
Yeah,
right
Larry
here. You can
told
feel this
him.
one
Our
coming.
people
They
was the only
finally
one
convert on their
who
chances.
didn't laugh. We may have been the only ones who drink, but at least they were laughing.
We had fun. I'll say that.
But there were a few, man. I got some nasty fire. Just kind of, okay.
Oh well. Oh well.
Have a sense of humor, people. Come on. Take this fight
And player
serious.
hauled
You're
down
not
to the
going to
ice.
get out
Looks
of
like
it
we got a
alive.
tripping penalty coming up
Big
here.
facts. Big facts. Just spit and
Save
tap
and a beauty on the
right
play.
now.
Oh,
Play is
okay.
stopped, and here's the official call.
We're going to
The
get
Leafs have
into
been handed a 2-minute penalty for
mentality
tripping.
of
Well,
late
you can see the pent-up
1995.
frustration. That's his second penalty of the period. Now he's put his team in a compromised position. Not to mention he's affected their rhythm.
WWF now finds itself batting up
Get out the ice
in the
packs.
Monday
Hey,
Night
James,
War
that's what you
era.
got to do
It
if
just
you want to
started
compete
Nitro,
for a
but
PK spot.
prior
He does exactly
the WWF is coming
Well,
off
this is the risk you take when you pull your
respectfully not their
goaltender for the
best
extra attacker,
year.
James, and they get
And
burned
they're
on
looking
it.
for a hit.
Spoken like a true stay-at-home
And
defender there,
Herbert
Pounder.
would say that
The Bruins now
they're
need to find a
contacting a
way
lot
to
of
get a few
different
more of
folks.
those.
Yeah, they need them
And you
because if they
remember
get
that
that
this is
pushback
around
and they
the
can get
same
a
time
couple more,
as
they'll feel like they
this
have an
is when
opportunity
Bae
to win the
had
game,
this
and then the stakes get
situation
heavy on
at
the
center
other
stage
side. A
all
lot of work to
north.
do to make that happen.
Whoop, you flip-flop. He wasn't flip-flop.
Picked up
That
along
was
the
a
boards
bad.
by
He was
Rattel.
bad for flip-flop.
Can't hang on to the puck
This
after the
might be
play.
one of the more famous fight stories in history of wrestling. Don't you think? How quickly did you guys in the
Well, there you
WWF
go.
hear that
40
story?
minutes in the
Oh,
books.
I
All
think
right,
that
friends, go grab
one
yourself some
went pretty
water,
quick.
get
That kind of
hydrated, and
just
then buckle up because we got an exciting third period
dressing
coming
room.
up in
Because,
moments.
look,
The
we don't
final
not
frame
talk
of
guys dressing
regulation
room.
has arrived.
If they need
It's
to work with
period
it, you
number
can bully
3,
them
and
and
it's
take
about to
liberties
go
and
down.
do things of that
Puck
nature.
picked
So
up by Sittler.
it wasn't unlike, oh, hey, poor Leon got beat up. Nobody makes an excuse.
Busic's
The
taking it
story
from his
was,
own end.
hey, we're going to fix that,
Into
we're
the
going to flip-flop.
offensive zone. Shot,
Just,
and not much on
and
that
like
one.
just kicking him.
Sends the pass over.
Flip-flop. So,
Right up Main
so
Street and on the
that
attack.
story went through because he was kind of the, he was up the
Denies
big
him on the
bully
play.
getting his comeuppance.
And that
Sends
story
it down
traveled
low.
so quickly, sort of pre-internet. Now I know some smart ass out there is going to say, oh, I'm not arguing that there wasn't.
Sittler's
I'm
got a
just
hat
saying,
trick in this game, and he may not be
we're
done
not
yet,
walking
James. I
around
mean, the
with the
puck is
internet
attached to him.
pocket
It's
like
like a
we are
magnet
now.
on his stick right now.
So back
It's
then,
because he's
the
finding himself in the
WWF
right
looking
spots
for,
at
hey,
the
what's
right
the
time. And if
surprises?
I'm the coach,
What
I'm sending
what
him
the
over the
wrinkles
boards
will
every
loosen in the
opportunity
fold.
in the
And
offensive end
allegedly,
because he's got the hot hand right now.
WWF, according to Ray Sumter, had contacted Dan Severn, Jake Roberts,
I have to
Ultimate
say,
Warrior,
James, I mean, the
Big Van
goaltender is
Vader,
so
Rick Martel,
aggressive on this play.
the
It
only
doesn't give
name
the
that
shooter
had been
any
mentioned
time
on
to get rid of it.
television is the Ultimate
Picked up
Warrior.
use of the paddle on that one.
And this man has
Grabbed
been
along the boards by Smith.
negotiating, according
Hammers
to
him
Ted
into the
Nolan, with
boards.
Warrior
Power
and
forwards
Vader
drive
about
lanes and they
making some
drive
appearances.
bodies, and
Was
that
there
one's
ever a
perfectly
universe
executed.
where Warrior's
And now
return
it's
was
grabbed
going
by
to be at the
Rattel.
Rumble and not
Loses possession
WrestleMania
after he
12?
takes a little hit.
Look, the Warrior conversations,
Taken
and they
by Park.
kind of
A
only
little banging and
seem
crashing now.
ongoing.
Takes the puck at the point.
It
The
was
Bruins take over on possession.
feelers put out there.
Sends it into the
They
offensive
did
zone.
respond, and he would ask too much, and then they would go
Toronto's
away
got a
for a
hold of the
while,
puck.
and then they would spark back
Gaining
up.
momentum
What if he
along
did
the wing.
this? What if he did that? But,
From
you know,
center, they get into the
those
attacking area.
were,
Chances
by
for
this time, they're getting a little warmer.
hit it again.
So by this time, I think that there was actual thought of
He's having
a
himself
guy
a game,
maybe
isn't
coming
he,
back.
James? He's flying around the ice. I
And
mean, if I'm the coach, I just
there,
tell his
you know,
teammates,
yeah, it was
get him the puck.
And he takes the
Oh,
pass.
God, thanks for coming back. Nelson right this way.
There you go. Et voilà. Bienvenue dans Rose Sittler.
No one. Vince. It's at Vince. Belton wrote this in The Observer. The
Fucking
situation
happy
with
about
Warrior
it.
is surprising since he's been mentioned on the syndicated Superstar show twice about a potential return to the WWF, but has yet to be mentioned on cable. Several WWF wrestlers believe Warrior is in for not only the Rumble, but to return as a regular. One person who's in a position to know better than most of the wrestlers claimed that that wasn't the case, and nobody is in a position that I believe they would know 100%, and they've told us nothing one way or another. McMahon has a hazy answer when asked on an internet chat, saying, in order for the Ultimate Warrior to return to the WWF, the moon and the stars and the sun and the planet Pluto will all have to be perfectly aligned in some sort of celestial magnificence. But who knows?
Yes.
Anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation. So he's teasing it kind of publicly.
Yeah.
I've always wondered,
Bon
what do you
shot,
think
Daryl.
Vince's...
Good
Because whenever
eats.
you and I talk about the
Good thing.
Warrior transition from Hogan to Warrior,
Nice contact.
we
Good
often talk
shit.
about how there were falling houses and Vince was underwhelmed with the results. It wasn't just overwhelmingly positive. So I guess my follow-up is, why does it feel like, for whatever reason, Vince was kind of enamored with the Ultimate Warrior here? Like, if he wasn't this magic shot boost for business and he was disappointing, I understand on the other channel now, Savage is there, Hogan is there, they're both in WCW, so is Flair, but he's not really one of Vince's guys. But the Ultimate Warrior, did he feel like, okay, if I can't have Hogan, I can't have Savage, let me at least lock up the Warrior? Or why does he think he needs a Warrior at this point?
I think that's part of it, but also there was always a connection with Vince and Warrior. They got along when they got along. Business-wise and dollars,
Put it
man,
fine.
money will always come in between. And I think that, Vince has he was just real jerk. And he ran out when Bill Watts cracked him in the head with a baseball bat, and he literally ran away and left the territory in the middle of the night. So I didn't have good experience with him. When he was calling in the summer of '87 to come in for WWE at the time, and I was asked, do you ever work with him? I said, yes, didn't have good experience. And Vince said, well, sometimes you have to look at the surroundings and the environment in which someone is in. And does the environment contribute to their demeanor and how they are? So was the atmosphere, was the environment one that could have made Jim a jerk? And, well, yeah, Bill could be difficult. Bill wasn't the most pleasant guy in the business to work with, but, Bill was Bill, and Bill was the boss. So gave Jim Hellwig the benefit of the doubt. But then I think that once Jim came in, he was on his best behavior when he first came in, and then once he got over it, he did get over it. I think it was his theme music that got him over. And his entrance and the enthusiasm. It's just, say what you will about Jim Hellwig, and I did not like the human being. Okay, the character of the Ultimate Warrior, man, had charisma, and he just like oozed charisma, and the guy had intensity and was frenetic and exciting. So it was, hard to deny that. No one can deny that. No one can deny the fact that this guy could not command an audience and that this guy couldn't get a reaction going out and doing what he did. And so to that, kudos, man. I give him credit for that. And Vince just honed in on the positives of what he saw. And that was that. But then, they had their falling outs, and they had their Warrior getting fired and whatever it was, 91, 92. And now it was an opportunity for him to come back. And this was something that I think Vince also is someone that if it's good for business, he'll entertain anything. He feels it's good for business. So having Warrior come back, he felt at the time this could boost business, and this could be somebody, again, that the audience was familiar with, that they saw as a WWE guy, that they were like, all right, man, this is going to be good for business. And yeah, he was really pushing hard, trying to sell us on it.
Warrior seemingly got a lot of concessions in his 1996 contract that's been made public from all the lawsuits after this. I don't think Vince gave that. Is that the first time you remember Vince granting a contract like that?
Well, I would probably guess that, Hogan had concessions in his, but, that was Hulk. I think Hulk was the only one. So when you go back and look at it, probably Hulk and Warrior had good deals. But Warrior, wanted everything in writing, and Warrior wanted everything to protect him, and I think at that point it kind of also gave Vince the pause to look at, he's protecting him, we have to protect us. So putting it in writing and wording it very carefully. But to answer the question, yes. And this was also during the time that we were looking at the downside guaranteed contracts, because WCW had been doing the guaranteed contracts, and that was something that people could point to. Oh, hey, yeah, I go to WCW. I know what I'm going to make every week. I don't have to work all the time. And I know exactly what my budget is. Every week I know that check is going to come. With us, you got paid on the gates, and if the gates were good, you did good. If they weren't, you didn't. So it was a new philosophy, and we were trying to look at how can we guarantee something but still have a built-in incentive for them to want to work harder and do more to get the gates up, to push merchandising, to do everything that comes along with the job and the gig. So all those things were going on. So also during this time, we're talking to obviously Vader, Johnny B. Bad, and it was those guys, not Warrior necessarily, but certainly Vader and Johnny B. Bad, that they were used to guaranteed deals. They were used to, okay, what am I going to make? And I want that, on a weekly. So we could do that, and we were just trying to figure out different ways. Warrior wanted a lot more. And Warrior wanted, certain guarantees and what have you. And yeah, Vince conceded to less dates and what have you. The ultimate blow up was over the comic book that Warrior had, that we over delivered in the very first, in the first run, but then he got just absolutely insanely crazy. More crazy than he had been.
All right, so all of our longtime listeners by this point know that the official dog of Something to Wrestle is my girl Ginger. I don't care what Bruce says about Rowdy or Bean. Ginger is the face that runs the place. I've loved Ginger since the first laid eyes on her. She's been my best friend. And I just thought that my best friend liked to lick her paws. And occasionally my best friend liked to itch or scratch. And I just thought that every now and again my best friend got ear infections. It turns out these are not normal dog behaviors. They're actually signs of allergies. You see, it turns out that allergies in dogs flare up when bad bacteria takes over the gut, because 90% of our dog's immune system lives in their gut. So just like humans, dogs need probiotics or good bacteria to strengthen their gut health and calm an overactive immune system. That's why my wife and I started using Better Wild Allergy Relief Chews for all of our dogs. This is a soft chew that's really a supplement designed to support your pet's allergy defense system by strengthening their digestion. And check this out. Better Wild is the first and only chew with the Ancestral Advantage Wolf probiotics derived from your dog's mighty ancestor, the wolf. That's going to help restore a healthy balance of good bacteria in the gut. Better Wild allergy supplement chews actually include 4 different ingredients. Of course, you've got that Ancestral Advantage, but it's also got L-Sacchii. Now, I had to look that up, but it turns out it's derived from kimchi, and it's been clinically proven to reduce itchiness and redness in just 2 months with daily use. How about that? The colostrum is there to help boost the immune function and fight off that inflammation. Even salmon oil in there to help support healthy skin and fur. My dog's Ginger, Baby, and now Little Daddy. Yes, my wife named a dog Little Daddy. They like it, and they're feeling better than ever. I can notice a difference in their behaviors. I don't see them licking and scratching as often. Better Wild is committing to helping your dog with science-backed, veterinarian-approved solutions that you can feel great about it. My dogs tried it. They loved it. You and your dogs will too. Right now, Better Wild is offering our listeners up to 40% off your order at betterwild.com/wrestle. That's betterwild.com/wrestle for up to 40% off your order. betterwild.com/wrestle. You know, not too long ago, Mark Mero listed his contract when he came over to the WWF. It was March of '96 when he worked that out. And a lot of people have believed that he was the first wrestler to receive a guaranteed contract from the WWF. But I think, in fact,
He was one of the first, yeah.
the Ultimate Warrior would have predated him because I think his contract was dated February 18th. So technically, Warrior may have had the first one. Mark Mero was the following month. Does that sound right to you?
The time frame is right, but I to say who got the first one and who signed the first one, I really don't remember, because you do have to throw Vader into that as well.
Okay.
And
So that's something I hadn't thought about.
so, because look, I was doing talent relations at the time, and I was the first one to do the downside guarantees. So I was working with Vince on a budget. Now, here's the crazy thing is that the budget for 1996 was a little over $9 million. I want to say it was like $9.4, $9.6 million in that range. That's for the entire roster. Okay. And how we arrived at that number was we took the last several years and looked at the whole roster, the whole budget, and what had been paid out. And that is where, we came up with that number. And that was given to me by Doug Sages, who was the chief finance guy. And I had to divvy that up. And in divvying that up, okay, you've got Shawn Michaels, you've got Bret Hart, you've got Undertaker, guys that were top guys that had been there for a while, and then you kind of got everybody else on there, and then Warrior and Johnny B. Bad, and God, there's 3. We just said them, didn't we? Vader. But what I didn't know was that Vince had already agreed to the money for Vader and Johnny B. Bad. So I've got, because I remember, thinking of Mark Mero, and I had him down in the 150 range, okay, for a downside guarantee. Vader, I want to say we were looking at like 250. And again, these were downsides. Right. This isn't what they were going to make. This is the least amount you're going to make. Right. I'm trying to make the budget work. That if all they made was the least amount, then we get to our $9 million and we're not over budget. But if they go over it, they're going over it because we earned that. We made that. And they were sharing. So it's like, profit share. So I didn't know about those. Then You know what? Warrior was the last one to be done. Because I remember his kicked the fuck out of the budget. So it was not, it wasn't pretty. For me, having to manage it, just go, what the hell? And then you have Sean, who we're looking at, okay, he's going to be a top guy. You got Brett, you got Taker. And those three guys needed to be taken care of. They're the ones that have been through it all and never left, and all that good stuff. So it was a mess.
Let's talk a little bit about Jake Roberts. He's 40 years old here. He's going to be making his return to the Royal Rumble. This will be his first time in the WWF since he left following WrestleMania 8. Now, you weren't at WrestleMania 8, but we know Jake went down to WCW. Bill Watts had just taken over. Bill did not honor the contract that had previously been negotiated, and Jake didn't last very long in WCW. Wound up doing a treatment, found the Lord, and he retired a year prior.
Lost?
I guess he found it.
Okay, cool.
And as the story goes, here's what Meltzer said. He retired from wrestling last year to go into religion and vowed he would never return. So we do know that he does actually work into a return. And the story that Jake has said for years and years is he hoped and believed and was led to believe by Vince that Pat Patterson's job would be his. When Pat steps aside, that, hey, Jake, you're going to have an opportunity here. And when that doesn't come to fruition, that's when he jumps to WCW. That was back in 92. Here we are in 96. Do you remember how Jake got back in the fold? Is he reaching out to Vince? Is Vince reaching out to him thinking, hey, let's get this nostalgia pop with a big return at Royal Rumble? How does that happen? Do you recall?
I want to say we reached out to Jake for the appearance at the Royal Rumble as a surprise and a nice pop and what have you. Then once Jake came in, and Jake appeared to be doing great, and said he was not doing any more drugs, wasn't drinking, wasn't doing any of those things, and gave, look, man, he gave that appearance when he came in, and in talking to him, really seemed clear-headed, and we needed, help from a creative standpoint, and Jake always has, he probably still does, have a great mind for business, amazing psychologist, and had he had the body of work to support that.
Right.
And, when Jake came in, it was like, hey, what about Jake? Could we use Jake to help us with writing TV, with booking and what have you? And that's kind of how it happened. But it started out with the appearance at Royal Rumble. Let's see what we got, and then go from there.
Do you remember, was anyone optimistic about Jake as a creative force behind the scenes, or was it always going to be a wait and see because of prior experience?
Sure, I was optimistic about Jake. Want to help. And again, I've always thought Jake had a great mind for the business. So, but at the time, that was like we'll see what happens, and I got you, and then go from there. It wasn't like, I got to bring Jake in and do this and see if he works out here to bring in the creative. It was, let's bring him in here. And then once he got there, it was like, okay, hey man, he seems pretty good. Could we possibly parlay this into something behind the scenes?
It's a new year, and colder days means this is the moment your winter wardrobe really has to deliver. If you're craving a winter reset, start with pieces truly made to last season after materials, all done in trusted factories that meet rigorous standards for both craftsmanship and ethical production. You'll love these. Also with Flash Wrestle, QUI a hype on TV. What did it take to get him away from his planned return to New Japan? Do you remember how all of that came to be? Is Vader reaching out and sending feelers? Is there back channeling? Does Vince just call him directly? What do you recall?
I want to say a little bit of both, but I'm not sure that the myth of Vader having a lot of opportunities after the WCW incident was necessarily true. And by that, I mean that the Japanese office, I believe it was New Japan, that was doing business with WCW, was kind of a little bit like, oh boy, you know, we not sure we want him anymore. And Leon, again, it was that kind of that bully mentality that he would use to get what he wanted. And I don't know that. I think he did. I think that Japan was the right market for Leon, and it was. He obviously was over there and did a great job. But I think that backstage incident took a lot out of it. You know, you go back to the Bulldogs and Dynamite Kid when Dynamite got his spot claimed by Jacques Rougeau. That the Dynamite Kid the day before was not the same Dynamite Kid after that fight. And I think that the same thing when you look at everything, I think that same history and that same thing repeated itself here with Leon, because there wasn't clamoring for Leon. I think that, you know, he maybe
Maman va bien?
in Japan, maybe he could have done that.
Je descends me faire Sittler, ben.
The aura.
Ouais, les 6 buts 4 passes. Hein. Ouais, j'ai fini à peu près en milieu de 3.
Pour les 3 one-shot?
Ouais. Ouais, puis là, check, dernier défi. Par 3 Headliners Pack.
We are just about
Okay.
to start period number 3.
Avec Dave. Mais merci, je suis content.
Perfect timing here tonight.
Ouais, c'est ça.
And we are still
Ah oui, plus un goaler. C'est merveilleux.
Third period is now underway, and this next goal could be a
Je
critical
m'attendais pas à ça. Quand j'ai vu ces cartons tantôt, c'est comme, bah, l'autre carte que je pouvais jamais avoir. Ben oui. L'effet domino était absolument insane.
Outside the call, we'll get a face-off coming up.
Bonne neuf.
Je peux pas les taper dans le cul, genre.
Au segment, ça doit être l'enfer.
We're still scoreless.
Ouais.
Parce que même, je partais pour toi.
Taves wins the draw at
Et ouais.
center.
Ça fait une coupe
Gains the
d'abonnés.
zone on the left wing. Slides it across. Taves in the corner now. The Blackhawks get a hold of the puck along the boards. And here's a shot. Oh, what a save by Knight. Takes a spill onto the ice and loses the puck. Puck grabbed by Bertuzzi. Cormier's got on the offensive end. Driving right to the front. Takes a shot. Redirected off one of his own line mates there. Comes up with a stop. Slides the puck over.
C'est ça, faut que tu dépêtes tout.
Picked up along the wall by Taves. Puck picked up by Burakovsky. Shakes the defender. He's on a breakaway. The Jets have it against the wall. Working the puck deep inside their own end. And puts the body into it, a little bumper car hockey. Pass it up ahead.
Fast and quick lead pass.
To the low slot. Great glove save.
I would have lost the puck 3 times by the time that I'd been handled like that by the coverage. I mean, but he doesn't. He just knows how to move and maneuver his body around the puck. He can shield it, and he maintains possession for a great shot on net.
C'est du sport avec quoi qu'on mange?
Puck after taking a knock. Dishes it to Taves.
Okay.
And now it's grabbed by Iafallo. Scoops up the puck here. And now he passes it to Burakovsky.
Moi, j'aime ça, l'habitude, ça.
And he gets all of that one as it was teed up with the slapper, but he turns it aside.
À part les macaroni.
Here's the pass. He's got him behind the cage. The Jets gain possession along the wall. Oh, what a big time stop by Knight. Quick pass across to Bedard. Shot! Pad save, and he made it look easy. Great job there. And the keeper's going to play it. Moves the puck into the attacking area. Avoids the defender. Chicago's got possession of the puck. Solid hit on the play. He grabs the puck here at the point. Oh, what a stop on the play. Gets all of it with the paddle.
Whether you're a player or goaltender, so much of the training is about reaction, and you can certainly tell that it has come in handy for him because he makes an incredible save just by instincts alone.
Stopped by the goaltender, getting a piece of that one. Look at that hit. Maybe try to wear down the opponents here. Oh, a little cat burglar-like play with the stick. Nicely done. Slides the puck over to Taves. Takes the feed at center.
On mange en commentaire, là? On mange en commentaire à peu près. OK, ça se passe.
Blackhawks gain possession in their own end. The Jets pick up the puck here in the neutral
C'est
zone.
chaud.
Pass out front. Scores! What a finish on the play. The Jets are on the board with the first goal of the game, and it is crunch time now.
It really is. This is a backbreaker with little time remaining, James, and you wind up in a deficit, but you know that they're going to press now. This was right in my wheelhouse. Get on the ice and high hard off the glass every single time.
Shot! Fantastic save!
Knight's movements are outstanding. I mean, he gets to position so quick. He's athletic and he makes a huge save from the slot.
Taves crosses the line and is on the attack. The Blackhawks get a hold of the puck in their own end. He got all of that hit. Bedard's got the puck. That's gloved by Hellebuck. Goaltender has made his way to the bench. The extra attackers out. They need a goal here big time. Wide open net. Scores into the empty net. Pounder, I feel like you must have had a few empty netters in your day.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I was on the back end. I didn't have hands, so when I scored one, listen, I celebrated. I was down and I was fist pumping everywhere, even when it was the empty net.
Pumped out the puck.
Ben, c'est sûr, c'est pas sûr. Ça va être plus que oui, puis ça va être plus que non. J'ai. Oh, là, une carte, pas check, une carte, pas de face.
Because it's a business-like approach as he's on the road. He just says, yeah, just bring it. I mean, gets a hattie to boot.
And the centers glide towards the dot here as we got a face-off set to go. Right in the open ice, that one's picked off. And that's off a stick. Scooped up along the wall by Premier. Handles the puck.
Ouais.
Gaining steam here on the attack. Great defensive stick work on the play. And he keeps the
Yeah, there.
Hellebuck's had a quiet night, James. He's been watching most of the game from the other end because of the offensive nature of his team tonight. But man, does he make a nice save there. And that's showing that he's emotionally engaged. He's staying prepared even though he hasn't been busy.
And that's all she wrote on this one as we are in.
Quelques-uns, non, quand même. Esti. Hey, savais-tu qu'il y avait un set pour faire les milestones? Ouais. Hein? Pour avoir. Il y a un set de 87, 89, puis la Nh26 92. Fait que 87, 89. C'est. Milestone. 87, 89. Ça inclut Napkin, Shifley, Luke Shen. Il y en a 3. Fait que tu as une chance sur 3 d'avoir Napkin. En shootant ta shot. 87, là, c'est Brad Marchand, Connor McDavid. Toi, t'as laquelle de McD? Dans le 90? Ouais, t'as le 90, l'événement. Hein?
Ouais, mais ça.
Tout à 90 de McD. Là.
Ouais, mais je comprends pas. Quoi, faut que tu mettes toutes ces cartes-là? Je comprends pas.
C'est la même affaire que tantôt. Genre, tu peux avoir une 87, OK? C'est un trade-in set. Maintenant, tu mets des 84, 85, là, tu mets trop 85, puis tu as une 87.
Ouais, je comprends.
Fait que le marchand, toi, tu as la 90 de McD. Là.
Exact.
OK, fait que plus bas, puis Ovechkin, puis Pasternak. Bon, comme je te dis, par exemple, il y a un autre set que tu peux avoir une 89, puis il y a juste Napkin, Shifley, puis Luke Shen.
Mais moi, Napkin, je le voulais, fait que ça se passe.
C'est un 89. La carte a de l'air de ça. Quick Release, Elite Edges All-Star, des patinages 89, accent 90, début 90, des mains 91. Trois autres habiletés. Ok, non, je te le dis parce que tu sais que dans le fond,
C'est quoi que tu veux
ouais, ben des 84, 85, pour fan 87. Check les titres, le 7. Check. Là, tu veux une 87, ouais. 85, 86 pour une 87, fait que tu le fais 3 fois. Tu as une chance sur 3. Puis ici, ah non, c'est ça, non, non, c'est la 89, là. Là, faut que tu le fasses, ouais, quelques fois. Ouais. Puis là, c'est ça. Là, ça fait cher, vraiment. Mais,
si j'allais one shot, c'est pas pire.
puis il y a la Jonathan Taze 92 aussi. Comme... Non, c'est ça, fait que...
Ça fait cher si j'allais
Ça...
pas one shot.
Ouais, c'est ça, ouais. À suivre le bébé. Est-ce que j'ai réussi à sniper une 84 à l'omnaille à 3000 cucks? Présentement, là, ils se vendent à 6250, 6300. Fait que je l'ai à moitié prix, genre. Ça. J'ai plus rien, moi. Ouais. Bon, ben, c'est la fin du live. Fait que sur ça, sayonara. À peluche. Bye bye, ciao.